Hey, folks, welcome to another episode of the Security Table. My name's Chris Romeo, joined as always by Matt Coles, Izar Tarandosh, and it's another day. The sun is rising, and sun is rising on the cybersecurity community. Well, on most people.
Unless
all
you're on the
right.
other side of the world, in which case it might,
Be going,
time zones and
the
the whole
sun
works.
might be descending if you're in Australia right now, where we have a number of listeners.
Woohoo!
So have a good evening, those in Australia right now. Okay, Matt? You had some ideas about where you wanted to go. I can't even.
I don't know if they're good ideas, but we can certainly try.
I'll put my money on them.
Set it up for us. Set the stage.
So an interesting question, and I kind of wanted to talk about trust today, but before we talk about trust, let's talk about who we're dealing with here. So in the past, there's sort of been an understanding. I think there's been oh my God, what's the word I'm looking for? Stereotype for the type of people who are in cybersecurity, right? They are pessimists, right? They are, to some extent.
I prefer realists.
Me too. I like that. I prefer to be called a realist. Not a pessimist.
Yeah, well, pragmatist is not necessarily the word, but maybe that came eventually because
True.
Sometimes they also came with a sense of inflated ego, like I know better, and therefore and that's where pragmatism had to come in, because that getting shut down so much. And I was curious what your thoughts were on what's that. What, if any of that changed for those who are listening to this and not watching this? Go over to YouTube and watch this.
It's the Loch Ness monster.
It does appear to be some form of monster attacking Matt.
Yeah. So, has the profile of individuals changed in terms of who gets into cybersecurity? And to some extent, does the introduction of AI change the profile of the individual? And or does AI have the personality type to be in this industry?
I'm going to leave the AI piece off to the side for a minute in my initial answer to this, and I'll share something that I've heard. I'm curious if you guys have heard the same thing. So I've been in cybersecurity now for 30 plus years, and so I get the opportunity to sit down with various young people who will say, I'm interested in cybersecurity. And somehow they'll get connected to me. And I'm always happy to take those meetings because it's we're talking about the next generation of what we do here. And we're not going to, people like us aren't going to be around forever. We're going to eventually retire and move to beaches and,
Wait, we're not old curmudgeon and
what do you mean
full of preservatives that we're going to live forever?
What these are?
What do you mean get tired?
Oh yeah, true, yeah. We have been tired.
You have to be tired in this industry. In this industry, you're always tired.
But
if you're not tired, you're not doing it right.
The point here is what I've heard from a number of different young people that are thinking about. They think cybersecurity is something that they're going to do or they want to go after. Is they think it's a lucrative job opportunity. Meaning they think they're going to make a lot of money. And I've heard it a number of different times. And did I always want to make a lot of money throughout my career? Of course. But is that why I showed up to work on Monday morning? No, because I think we're all in the same boat. Like, we love doing this. We would do it in some capacity for free, even if we didn't have jobs in it. The money is nice and it's good to be able to eat and feed your family and everything. But that wasn't ever my motivation. I was never like, and granted, I got started in cybersecurity when it was in its infancy. But I was never like, ooh, I'm going to make a lot of money. That was never my motivation. My motivation was we have problems to solve. There are interesting scenarios. It's not the same thing every day. And so this is just something I've heard from meeting with a number of different young people over the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. And it just seems like it's a different answer than I heard 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
So here's the thing. I think that Matt is right. There was a stereotype in there. And I think that Chris has like put his finger on the stereotype perfectly. The three of us, we got into this game by probably making the mistake of turning our hobbies into our profession.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that sort of links with the episode that we had about enmeshment and personality and work and all that kind of stuff. And in the term that, yeah, Chris is right. I think that we would be doing some form of this stuff for free if it didn't pay.
Well, in fact, we do often, right? We volunteer our time, right, with organizations and whatnot that are
exactly
not necessarily recognized, or monetized, right?
And the point is that, and that's great that Matt went there, because we built a form of community around this. I'm not going to say old guard of people who sort of grew up doing this stuff this way, but some sort of common denominator of people, which in turn, I think, created much of the stereotype, right? But at the same time, at least to me, it's funny. And especially, I understand Chris' experience with young people. I am fortunate to still be allowed to work with many of those. But especially when we go...
Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know exactly what went through your head.
I'm allowed.
I thought it as soon as it came out of my mouth. Yeah. But
he means personality wise, not legally wise. So.
Yes, exactly. HR, stay where you are. Stay where you are. Go ahead. But the point is that then we go to places like OWASP conferences and stuff like that. And to me, at least, it's almost like it blinks on the radar. Those who come in because they have that same passion that now has been fired by years and years and years of tradition, and those that come in because, hey, it's a great job, and you can do some good money in it, and you get to tell people that what they're doing is wrong and they should do it differently.
In other words, reinforcing the stereotype that there's an ego and I know better than you kind of thing.
True. But on the ego thing, this is going to hurt so much to say, but
let's be cathartic. Let it all out, Izar.
Yeah, I think that we grew up back in the day. Yeah, that there was some ego going on there, and that there was that amazing stuff of, I know arcane arts that you don't, and I go around with my hoodie up, and it looks so cool. Never mind that nobody really thinks about it, but I do.
And I'm gonna drop those words that are just mythical,
Exactly. Watch as I type very quickly on something with green letters on a black background, and oh my god, if only Hollywood could see me now, right?
But I know Unix.
Yeah, but the thing is, and I am not a dinosaur, just work or son. But the thing is that the new stereotype is the young founder bringing in the very quick startup that's going to get like millions on VC and either make it big and get bought by someone or just disappear in a puff of smoke. And even the experience with those founders that the three of us have had of advising these people, or just, as they say, giving us 15 minutes of our time to give an opinion on this idea that they have, it goes to show that it's not, I don't think it's ego anymore. I think that we got to a level of maturity. And again, we have talked about this in the past, where even the new thing is boring. We get When was the last time that you found yourself getting excited by watching somebody else's product? And it's not that we think that we know better than them. It's just that we've seen this before. We've been there. We worked with it. We tried to create it. We sold it. We managed to. We did
Mhm.
another version. We used a different technology. But it's not ego. It's maturity, I think.
When you think about maturity, somebody asked me a couple days ago, like, are we in an AI bubble? And I said, of course we're in an AI bubble. This is like my fourth time around of the next big thing, right? Like
Star bubble.
yeah, I mean, I remember when cloud
Mm-hmm.
was the best thing since sliced bread, and we entered a cloud bubble, and eventually that bubble burst, and then everybody just kind of realized, okay, this is how we're going to do business moving forward. But the hype cycle went up, 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 and then cloud wasn't the hot thing anymore. And like, how many other things like that have we? I mean, we've been through the blockchain
Well,
hype cycle.
I mean, it's interesting that you say that. Did this all start with the dot-com boom and bust?
No. Once upon a time, electricity was the hot thing until it was just something that everybody has in their homes.
Not for us. I mean, we're not that old.
No. But what I mean is, I think that the progression from hot thing to something that's commonplace, like the cloud, is just a profile again of maturity, right?
I
You start
guess
with
what
something.
I guess what I mean is, though, you know, that hype cycle really started with the dot-com era, right? For us, and security in particular.
Well, I mean,
Because that's when
no.
VCs woke up.
Remember, the first hype cycle was really the mainframe versus personal computer.
That's
Oh,
true.
yeah.
Where we were
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
Most of it. I think we were all kids when that was happening.
I mean, mainframes, IBM mainframes especially, were still a thing, right? And
but that was the big hype of like, okay, we're leaving the centralized computing, and we've got this desktop computer that's revolutionizing the world.
Right. At some point, we should do an episode on this, because, I mean, as you mentioned, or as you didn't mention, but I will now, the hype cycles, things come back around, right?
Sure.
The notion of centralized computing
Yeah.
was a
that
thing.
was a funny one. That was
and then
a funny
it came
one.
back around.
The network is the computer. Remember that one from Sun?
That was another. Yeah, that was another hype.
Right. And now we're coming out of the cloud back to, you know, on-prem and local. And so it's
I mean, but I took us in that direction just because part of maturity is we've been around a long time, so like we're not riding the wave of the AI hype cycle. I think we all agree AI is fundamentally changing the world. It's changing how security works. It's changing how development works. But it's also not. We also realize there'll be something else after this. Like, this isn't the end of hype.
Yeah, no, we already know what's going to be after this, right? Because it's been trying to be the next thing for so long lately.
Quantum.
It's probably going to be quantum in one way or another.
Right. Well, quantum has an interesting property, though, that the others don't. Right. The other hype cycles.
It has and it doesn't. Yeah.
Well, we're getting a little off topic, but yes, it does that because of, you know, it is, or it isn't,
or not.
But the thing that quantum will change is those other hype cycles evolve not only the capabilities of the environment of the systems that we were involved with, and the technologies we had to learn in order to continue to secure them, right? So there's a continuous learning process here. But quantum adds a condition that we didn't have with those other things, and that's that there's an insecurity that was always present that quantum now enables. It's kind of like before return-oriented programming and living, and, you know, being able to tap into libraries and use precompiled function, precompiled information to exploit, you know, or using exploits for vulnerabilities. You had a pivot problem. You had to get in and break a system, but when return-oriented programming occurred, you can now tap into execution flow and pivot within the system. And that was an evolution of technology that we then had to adapt to. quantum brings into a situation where all you have to do is passively collect information, and now you have an insecurity, and we can't defend against that anymore. We can't defend against it because we didn't defend against it previously. Whereas we can start to defend. When return-to programming occurred, I remember sitting in a DEF CON presentation on return-to programming, and the one thought came to mind. So if we don't have buffer overflows, does return-to programming work? And the answer is, well, yeah. If you close the buffer overflows, you won't have return-oriented programming to worry about.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we can solve that. Well, we can't, but we tried. We can't solve quantum, right? Because if you recorded this whole harvest now, decrypt later problem, it's a different set.
I mean, information has a value it's on a linear progression from time.
Right, it degrades in value and degrades in quality.
Yeah, so I mean, if you got information from 30 years ago, it's not worth very much right now if you can decrypt it today.
It depends on the nature of the content, right? I mean, government secrets, as an example, right, might be a very lucrative now, even if it's 30-year-old secrets.
Yeah, it'd be like a telegraph machine.
I'm just looking forward to the day when AI and quantum will get together. So it's going to be the non-deterministic quality of AI together with the undecibility of quantum. And we're going to ask a computer, are there any bugs in this code? And it's going to look at us and go, could be. Yeah, I could think of some. Yeah, sure.
I might need 10,000 years to calculate that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna meld together AI and quantum, why don't you just use blockchain as the database to write to?
Oh yeah, no. That's how you're going to get the output, right?
Okay, got
it. It's
and then we'll use the cloud.
Yeah,
and you get paid in NFTs. You get paid in NFTs. But going back to our original
NFTs.
That was a thing, right?
Yeah.
There's another hype cycle. That was a big hype cycle. People are paying millions and millions of dollars for what were some apes? What was the ape?
Oh, the banana things.
The smiling ape? No,
the banana ape. Monkeys.
Monkey
had a name.
Had a name. It had a name.
Something apes. I don't know.
And
people were paying millions.
And then you had Banksy, right?
Well, Banksy's pretty famous. Is a famous artist. But yeah, he did some NFTs as well. But all of that's aside. Okay, so we completely went on. Well, we followed the path. We fell in a hole. Matt, pull us back out here, back to your original question.
So back to the personality thing.
The personality and the training profile. I guess to some extent we could talk about the training profile. So myself, as someone who didn't start in security, I think amongst the three of us, I didn't start my career in cybersecurity.
I didn't either.
I thought I was a developer.
I don't remember your origin story. I don't know if I ever listened to your. Did you ever do an origin story on your own podcast?
No,
Chris,
on the AppSec podcast.
Oh, now it's the time.
No, we don't have time. I need
wait. Hello, folks.
Wow.
Where's Robert when you need
Chris,
him?
Tell us about your origin story.
No. I mean, the simple version is I started as a sysadmin.
Yeah,
okay, but worked for a couple of years as a sysadmin because it's not because I didn't want to be in cybersecurity. It didn't exist unless you were in the government.
Exactly, it was just work.
World.
It was just work,
even in those days, if you had to be somehow attached to the government. I'm talking about 1995 or so when I started making my way towards this. And so sysadmin was kind of the gateway.
That was before. Was that before or just after the for Fun and Profit paper?
Oh, that was 1996. The paper
6 or 7.
Yeah. So you were just before.
And ones.
We should recognize, like Chris said, security has existed for some period of time. It was often associated with more physical and personal security and computer systems. I mean, War Games was a classic movie about security, but they didn't talk about security.
Security became a thing when the Cuckoo's egg became an actual pocketbook.
Yep.
Written by Cliff Stoll,
which is awesome.
Listening at home.
If you have not read it, and you can't have an AI summarize it, you have to read it.
And if you haven't read it and you call yourself a security person, shame on you.
Why, I thought we weren't supposed to book shame people.
No?
I don't know, just
We get to throw the book at them, right?
Yeah, we should. It's a small book, so it won't hurt a lot, but we should definitely do it.
No, seriously. It was like it was a pocket book, and for those who don't know the story, Callisto was an astronomer in a university, and he noticed back on those times you would pay. Wow, another thing that came around.
Yeah,
You would pay for time of
utility
use
computing
on a computer, right?
or utility
So,
payment. Yeah,
departments would get printouts with the use that they had of computer time, and he noticed a discrepancy of $0.002, I believe it was. So that's like 0.2 cents or something like that.
it was a fraction of a penny.
Something of a ridiculous magnitude. And he started following it, and he ended up uncovering a KGB operation to they were targeting, I believe, space shuttle data. And
he had to chase back through the network, and it was telephone network. It was telephony networks.
It was modems. It was modems. Yeah. Did it ever become a movie, or am I tripping?
I think there's so many movies that were sort of based on the idea.
No, there's a lot of tropes that came from there.
Like Swordfish, I think, was a classic one that was very similar.
I think that's the best bit of the book. And yes, I'm going to give it up because I know that you people are just not going to go and read it just because it's that. So he had this piece of like fake data, and he had to keep the attacker assessing for as long as needed to trace back the call. So he jingled his keys on the back of the modem. And these modems, you people have to remember, they had like this big connectors, like serial connectors. Every beat was one wire. And he jingled his keys over there to put actual noise on the wire, so that the thing would degrade but not go down. And
that was the beginning of, that was the concept that eventually became the honeypot.
Yep. So many things came from that book. And I think that's that one, and Takedown, which is a bit more of a... That's a bit more of a Hollywoody story. That's Shimomura versus Mitnick, but still worth reading. Those two, I think, were the things that put a lot of people on the way to what we do. But
I don't think the one about Mitnick was Hollywoodized.
No, that one became a movie because
I'm saying, okay, you're saying it became a movie. Okay, yeah, no, I'm saying the story, like the story was what happened to him.
Right? No. The story as told in the book is already a bit Hollywoodized.
Oh, you mean like made bigger than
some stuff, I believe.
I mean, a lot of hacking has to be, because otherwise it's not interesting, right? I mean,
true.
If it takes a hacker, if it takes somebody who is going to break into a system days to research, I guess that's one thing that war games actually did right early on, right? Was it takes days, potentially weeks, to research and to pour through old manuals, and right, and not like I'm in.
Which
right?
is actually something that you see in Hackers, the movie,
right?
When they are dumpster diving, looking for dumpster diving and all, which you do not see in Sneakers. But
don't
anyway,
even start throwing. No.
And actually, so here's an interesting question: did those movies influence security people, or were people already in security and they saw those movies and they thought, this is how I want to be. This is like, I want to do that. I think for me, some of those movies, like Sneakers especially, influenced me in terms of like, yes, that's a little bit of an idealized view of security, obviously, but that lifestyle, not the lifestyle, the sort of the environment, that it's a problem to solve, and you have, that it's a specialized environment too, right? It was a niche at one time.
Wait. It just hit me. Did they have quantum in the box?
No, I don't think so.
Was that what it was? I think time travel happened, and that is actually a quantum computer in the box that's able to decrypt everything. I just realized.
But Matt,
solved it.
That might be. It might be somebody with a paper. I mean, Well, we don't know the under. It's interesting. Neil Stevenson does a lot of like real research for his books, and
Yeah.
he did some. Cryptonomicon is the sort of the classic there, right? And there's research that's been going on for decades that are finally coming to real life in the computing space and in security specifically. So maybe that chip, from sneakers was quantum based. It would make sense.
You heard it here first, folks. This is a breaking news.
And if anyone knows about the script writing and the basis for it of sneakers, that would be cool to hear about.
I think it's more like the Clipper chip.
Yeah, but the Clipper chip.
That was the level of technology that was going on. But back on the influence thing, like if you look behind me, for folks just hearing this.
Yeah, I see a picture of the Muppets.
No, there's a reason why I have 3 pictures behind me. One of them is Matt's and mine book, because, hey, it's a great book. Everybody should read it. And the other one is the poster from the War Games movie, because I consider that my origin story, to tell you the truth. That's when I looked at something and I said, I want a computer in my room. And it wasn't because of, who was it? Elizabeth Shue. But yeah, it may have contributed. And of course, the Muppets, because I have to say something about the community, right? So, but I think that Matt, again, put his finger on it with I think that those movies, they helped. They helped. It wasn't a red button this time. They helped build the romantic version of what we do, right? And a lot of people got onto that bus because the romantic version of it was so compelling. But as most everything in life, once the romantic version meets the real life version, some people notice that that's not what I signed for, and some people get it more, even stronger. Hey, that's what I want to do with my life. And I think that most of the people that I have met that were in some way in security decided to stay. So to me, what that shows is that in a way or another, it is a very close-knitted community of people. We do have more similarities than we have differences.
Well, and actually, that it's interesting that you say that. A while back, probably 10, 15 years ago now, the community of people who did product security was a lot smaller.
Oh yeah.
Right, than IT security, right? So security had different flavors, it still does, but there were these niche groups, and product security was I mean, at one point some of us were thinking, well, how many people are actually doing product security? Because at that time, Microsoft obviously really kicked it off with Bill Gates. Not kicked it off, but made it public, right? There was stuff happening, but that really triggered it, yeah. And then, but not all companies were doing product security, at least not making it well known, or they had a handful of people in that environment. So when you went to Black Hat or DEF CON or one of those security conferences, B-Sides, I think, sort of appeared as a result of some of these niche conversations. And at some point, when we turned to threat modeling, right? Threat modeling, to the collection of people who do threat modeling was a niche, subgroup of people. Not everyone does it. Now everyone's doing it. Right.
Or should.
Well, and they may be doing it sort of begrudgingly, or it sort of just now happens, right, as part of their regular work. But the people who are heavily involved with making threat modeling happening was a small group of people. Does that make it any more or less exciting now that it's starting to become ubiquitous? The things that we do, the things that were niche. Was the niche the important part?
So I'm going to confess something here.
You're not really Izar?
I'm a pod. But the confession is, I think that by now it's very clear that I have a certain passion for threat modeling.
Gee, you don't say.
But lately, it's become annoying. It's become annoying because the amount of people insisting in looking for the silver bullet, the shortcut, the accelerator, the thing that's going to do it for all of us and going to do it perfect. People, just fracking do the work. It's not that difficult. Sit down, look at the stuff that you're building, think about what could go wrong, think about what you're going to do about it, think about how important that is for you, and then see if you did a good job. It's really not magic.
Okay,
But
we have
no.
officially reached curmudgeon level 10.
Well,
No, but
I mean,
really,
he's got a point.
No.
Developers, think about the APIs you're calling and use the language like you're supposed to. It's not magic.
I just have a feeling he's going to yell, "Get off my lawn" at the end of this.
Chris, no. My point is, please come into my lawn and stop creating these little patches of grass that all of a sudden are going to make the whole thing shinier and easier and whatnot. People, it's very simple. There is a problem. It needs a solution. A lot of it is conceptual. What you think you could plug into the conceptual thing right now, we have, I'm loath to use the word proven, but has been shown to be a glorified checklist. So get off that bus and just freaking do the work. It's not going to help. It's not going to help the amount of emojis that you put into it. It's not going to help the amount of abuse cases that, like, what you're doing is an abuse case.
So your frustration stems from people that are entering threat modeling and trying to, they think they're coming up with new ideas or something that are going to revolutionize or make things move so much faster. And you've been around a long time, and so you know that that's not going to be how it works. Is that what I'm hearing?
We have tried every single accelerator out there. Outside from creating something that can actually do the conceptual work in a blaze of speed, you are not solving the garbage in, garbage out problem. Until you solve that, you can be as smart as you want. You got horrible information coming in. You're going to get horrible information going out.
Have you met Claude?
Yes, but have you met the people who feed Claude with information? Because just saying analyze this code base, I'm sorry, we all agree, that's not exactly threat modeling.
So this is what comes around, right? Or what's old is new again. Remember the early days of static code analysis tools?
I remember.
Yeah. And the garbage you would get from the garbage you would put in.
No, but that was in part because basically we were so stuck in regular expressions. Remember when ASTs came out? What a revolution it was! All of a sudden, instead of 100,000 false positives, you had only 10,000. Life became so much less unmanageable. But the point that I'm trying to make is the problem of threat modeling has been solved. We have methodologies. We have proven results. We know the ABC that leads to Z, right? What hasn't been solved, and what I urge people out there to please go and do, is focus on the problems around threat modeling. The other things that make threat modeling possible. Got some startups working in that space, some beautiful work, but I still believe that there's a lot of stuff to do in there, and that's the specifically interesting place to look at. And the way that joins the personalities is that once upon a time, we were able to look at the problem, take a step back, see what's around the problem, and solve one thing after another. Nowadays, because of the short loop of let's make money very, very fast, everybody's solving this problem that all of a sudden we have this very shiny tool that apparently solves. So we all got the generative hammer, and every problem became the prompting nail. It's not.
At some point, we should talk about whether AI is a member of the security community with a personality. It doesn't have a personality. I'm not saying
let's talk about that. No, it isn't. Next.
That
was quick.
But it fits that role. It fits that role, right? It is your developer.
People want it to fit that role.
I know. It's your developer today, right? People are not looking at it as a tool for accomplishing a goal. They're looking at it as, I have a friend.
Because it is today's silver bullet. People,
it's today's hype cycle.
Doesn't matter how many times it tells you, oh, you are right. Yeah, I made a mistake. It's not your friend.
Wait, what are you trying to say?
Sorry, I was wrong.
Don't listen to that, Claude. Don't listen to that.
It's my friend. All right, well, we're out of time for today. We will potentially revisit that episode, that idea of, does AI have a personality, if any of us can remember it a week from now.
Oh, wait, let me write a markdown file for us to remember later.
Yeah, tell Claude to remind you.
I was to say, can't you ask Claude to do that?
Yeah, just tell Claude to remind you, and then 2 years from now, you'll get a reminder. I didn't know that you wanted it in a week.
Yeah, but
friend.
Wait. So, again, we are approaching OWASP Vienna at the end of the month. 2/3 of us are going to be there. So if you're attending, if you're listening to this, and if you want to go on our faces and say, you're wrong, and hear us say, you're right, we're wrong, then catch us there. We'll have nice stickers. First time that the podcast is going to have stickers.
Hi, my name is. Matt says, hi, my name is Slim Shady.
I'm always going to go with Nino Montoya, but now it's very common to see people with 6 fingers, so it's not a big thing anymore. Yeah,
that's true. All right, well, we got to wrap this episode up. Thanks for listening to Security Table.
The original.
OG.
The one.